I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
No, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. It feels good to Geico.
Hey, y'all, and welcome to another episode of the Millennial Management Podcast. I'm your host, Brandy, the Millennial Manager, and today is Monday inside of Patreon. Outside of Patreon, bitch, it's Wednesday, and your ass is getting this motherfucking message late. Now, if you want this message early, all you need to do is come on over to Patreon. It's $6 to join each month, and you'll be able to look at me, and we can be talking, and you can see my face when I'm reading some of this crazy ass shit that I be getting from y'all about y'all crazy ass jobs. Okay? So take your ass over to Patreon so you can get the episodes early and video quality. Okay, bitch? Now, today, of course, anything that anybody can talk about is spirit. And I have not spoken about spirit online as of yet, as of today, for this very reason, because it was just a lot of shit going on. Number one, we didn't know whether or not the federal government was going to step in. So it kind of seemed like if I were to keep, going back and forth about it, we were going to be making changes. It's almost Monday, or it is Monday inside of Patreon. So that means that things are kind of final at this point. So what I want to talk about is how we got into this situation to begin with. So before the war in Iran, there were already issues with the cost of operating Spirit. That was already a fucking problem. Number one, a lot of people were not traveling because of the fucking economy. People were not spending their money because of the economy. So if people are not traveling, people are not going to see family, they're not going on trips. Of course, Spirit is not going to make any money. Now, for those of you who do not know, Spirit is like, not saying anything bad about it, okay, because they have not had any casualties or anything like that, but it is considered to be a lower tier airline, okay? And that's why I think what has happened is actually detrimental to the state of the economy as it pertains to employees, as well as the economy as it pertains to travel. Because I feel like larger airlines are monopolizing on that fact, right? Spirit was great for people who are on a strict budget, who wanted to stay within a certain means when it comes to traveling. And then they employed almost 20,000 people. So now, along with all of the other numbers of unemployment, which are fucking astronomical, here we are adding another almost 20,000 people to that number. So it was already bad for Spirit a few months ago, and they had actually been talking about it on the news. I saw it on CNN, I saw it on MSNBC, where they would have meetings with, or like interviews with the CEO or with other people inside, like other higher ups inside of the organization, and they all denied it. They all were like, no, Spirit is going business as usual. And, we're looking for all these things. Like, no, it was already a fucking problem. And really, even going further back than just 2026, before the war in Iran, there was supposed to be a merger in 2024 between Spirit and another airline, and Joe Biden's administration blocked that. And some of the reasons why they blocked it was because of the monopoly. Right? If all of these bigger airlines are owning these smaller airlines, you really are not saving the customers any money, because these big ass companies are ordering, which means, or not ordering, but owning these smaller companies, which means that we have less options. So if you have Delta, per se, let's say it's Delta that owns Spirit, and Delta is sharing flights that are $575. Is sharing flights that are $275, but Delta is still getting that fucking money because they own Spirit. That was one of the reasons why they also denied the merger. It wasn't Delta that they wanted to merge with, but it was another airline that they wanted to merge with. And so they had problems going back to 2024. And unfortunately, they could not stand the test of time. There were some conversations of the current administration turning the planes into military planes where they were going to be transporting a lot of military equipment to and fro, and that did not happen. It seems like that kind of stalled the conversation or stalled in conversation, so nothing ever came of that. And even if that was the case, it still would not have saved the 17,000 people who work at Spirit who lost the opportunity to retire from the company. Like there was a 60-year-old who was set to retire at 62, and he already had a lot of time served with other airlines and had been with Spirit for a while, and was set to retire, ready to retire, and is not going to be able to. And now he has to struggle to find work, which also means that the market is saturated for this employee and several others who are looking to find work in similar companies, because now we're even smaller as far as airline options are concerned. Where are these people going to work? Flight attendants, people at customer service, and I mean the list just goes on and on. Pilots, I'm sure they can find a job, but stewardess, the customer service, like those jobs where you have a bunch of people doing those jobs, those are going to be in short supply, and it's going to be very hard for them to rebound from this. Like people who purchase homes this year and have families, like, I mean, it is fucking ridiculous. Now, to the people who purchase tickets on Spirit, I don't know if y'all ain't been paying attention to the fucking news or not. And this is why I know the news can be very depressing. But they were talking about this months ago and saying that Spirit was on the verge of collapse. They have been saying it, so it's not a surprise. The only people I think would really be surprised are the employees. And that's because, and not the higher ups. Not the higher ups. The higher ups, they knew what the fuck was going on. Right? We were watching literally Fun with Dick and Jane. I don't know if y'all seen that movie, but Fun with Dick and Jane is a movie with Jim Carrey and what is that white lady name? She was in one season, Taya Leone. She was in one season of Different World, but she was in that movie, and in the movie she was talking, in the movie Jim Carrey had just taken his new position within his organization, and he had been with the company for a while, and they set him up as a fall guy. So he had to take the fall for everything that was happening. The company shut down, people's retirement was gone. I mean, everything was happening, and he was set up as the fall guy. He had literally only been in that position for maybe a day at least, and then the company failed. So it's things like that where, you know, some of the higher ups, they knew what was going on. The only people I feel like had no real clue or were receiving like two different versions of the story would be the employees. Because inside the company, they're probably making it seem like everything is fine, everything is great, people are getting paid, so there's no reason to be concerned because people are getting paid, right? But on Saturday at like 1 o'clock in the morning, the motherfuckers grounded every plane that was in Detroit, in Dallas, Texas, Houston. I don't know why I said Texas, but Houston, Los Angeles, everywhere. Any flights that were out were grounded and did not have a return flight. So people had to figure out what the fuck to do. JetBlue was helping people get home, but they can.
I drive my bus in a busy city. That's why road safety is so important to me. I know that I must slow down and be extra careful when I make a wide turn. Buses need more room than cars. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're driving, remember to give buses plenty of time and space to finish turning before driving ahead. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
I'm here on the job site with Dale, who's a framing contractor.
Hey, good morning.
Dale traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance for all his business vehicles. We're here where he needs us most.
Yep, they sure are.
We make it easy for him to save on all his insurance needs, all in one place, with coverage that fits his business and bottom line. Oh, I shouldn't have looked down.
It's all right.
We're so far up here.
Look at me. Take a deep breath.
No, I'm good. So good.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. It feels good to Geico.
Only do so much. I believe Delta was offering flights. Frontier, which is limited, which I don't know why Frontier and Spirit did not come together. Like, they are literally brother and sister. I don't know why they did not merge, because Frontier, I've never flown Frontier, but Frontier, I believe, has like that family, kids free thing. It just seemed like they were like kindred spirits. I don't know why they did not merge. That would have been so good. But I just feel like, the only people who were blindsided, going back to my original point, would have been some of the employees. Okay. Higher ups, they knew what the fuck was going on. They knew it from the beginning when these conversations started happening in 2024. Because as a higher up, you do not find out shit at the last minute unless you just started, like Fun with Dick and Jane. Jim Carrey had just started that fucking job. He had only been in the position for a day. People who have been in that job in higher up positions over the last 2 years that are in accounting, finance, even those who are underneath that in the administrative HR roles, they know. And they been knew. They been knew what the fuck was going on, but they just could not sound the alarm. Because also, if they were to tell anybody or were to get that word out of there, it would stop the operations of the organization, which is also why they didn't really have to notify the employees, because it would have stopped the day-to-day operations. And that's one of those loopholes to where organizations do not have to warn you that they're about to close as an employee. Because if it stops the operation of the company day to day, they do not have to tell you. And that's in one of them fucking loopholes. Okay, so a lot of people are like, "Oh, why didn't they report it on their site?" They don't have to. They really don't. And it was kind of in the public eye. I feel like there were like leaks of communication that were happening, but it was in the public. We kind of knew it was happening, but you just didn't know when. And I definitely feel like eventually there is going to be some higher ups, the CEOs, maybe even some people who are in HR who knew what the fuck was going on and did not, right, handle this situation properly. Because from my understanding, people who bought tickets could not even log in to Spirit's website because there's no customer service, there's no tech, there's nothing there to support them to get their money back. To even be able to request something, like to get a phone call to see what's going on, how do I, change my flights, or nothing. So I would imagine that it's the same thing on the other end for employees. Going into my next point, this is also why documentation is very important. I know we talk about it all the time, and it's just a bell that I'm going to keep ringing. Documentation is so important for shit like this. You need to know what's in your 401k or your 457. You need to know what's in your retirement. You need to know. You need to keep a monthly statement every month that your organization sends you, a statement that says, okay, this is how much money you have in your retirement. You need to keep that. It needs to be on your phone, or it needs to be in some type of documents. Pay stubs. You need to keep that. You need to keep it. For those of you who work at Spirit, and y'all received that email that you no longer have a job, it's time for you to apply for unemployment. I hope that you have applied for unemployment, because the website is going to be shut down tomorrow with a bunch of people applying as well. So the minute that you got that you did not have a job, that was the time for you to apply for unemployment. And this is also not the time for you to be picky when it comes to a job. You need to work any job. Okay. You need to have a job, because we don't have time. Bills still have to be paid. And at the end of the day, you want to make sure there is no disconnect between your bills and your fucking money. All right. So make sure you apply for the unemployment, and then also make sure that you are applying for jobs, no matter what. You understand? Thank you. Now, one of the notes that I have about the entire process, or the thing that kind of stuck out to me when it comes to Spirit, is the bailout. A lot of people were banking on the federal government to bail out Spirit, and I don't know fucking why. I don't know why. The only bailout that I saw the federal government giving them was the option to become a part of the federal government. or be supported as a leg or an arm of the federal government to transport military equipment. That was the most that the fucking federal government was ever going to do. They are not going to build them out. So I know a lot of people were hoping on that and waiting on that as an employee, or even the organization itself. They kind of thought like maybe the federal government will step in. No, do not count on the federal government for a fucking thing at this point. I think we should all know that the federal government is not Superman. All right, this is not 2009 or 2008 when the bailouts happened. This is not the time for that. Okay, guys, that's not happening. I also want to talk about ethics of the whole situation, because people were saying that it's not ethical for a company to shut down overnight. Just like I told y'all, they do not have to report anything, because it would have disrupted the process of business up until that point. They don't have to report. They don't have to say the organization is closing, the company is shutting down. The CEO who knew that, he knew it. He said, "Oh, we're operating business as usual. This is a couple weeks ago. Oh yeah, we're operating business as usual. Yeah, no change. Spirit's going strong." He knew that the organization was going to run out of money. And there was also somebody reporting out or inside of the organization telling the news outlets they're running out of fucking money and they're not going to have any money past Saturday, is what they said. Operational costs will stop come Saturday. And that's exactly what the fuck happened. Now, as far as the economy trap, we talked about that and how it puts a lot of flyers in situations, or people who like to go on vacations, or maybe you just want to go see your family, not even a vacation. It lowers our options that we have. So that is not good for the economy. The point of the American capitalism is options. Whether we don't like capitalism, but y'all know what the fuck I'm saying. The benefit that we have, or the benefit of capitalism, is that we have options. We can go, if Chick-fil-A is closed, I'm not just stuck with just not eating. I can go somewhere else. I can go to McDonald's, I can go to Wendy's, I can go to Arby's, I can go wherever, Burger King. I can go wherever the fuck I want to go eat. If there's a restaurant that I don't necessarily care for, I'm not obligated to only eat at restaurants that are owned by this organization. I can go elsewhere. You see what I'm saying? So we have that benefit. And unfortunately, as time goes on with these large airlines, we lose that option because of the fucking cost to operate the airline. Number one, fuel. And they're passing on a lot of these costs on to the consumer, but it is not going to help them at the end of the day. This is not your damn Ford F-150. This is a fucking plane that has to fly all day long. So a plane having to fly all day long, they have high operations costs because they have to pay staff. They have to pay for the spot to be like, to have a hub at an airline or at an airport. They have to pay for that. Like Delta, they pay big money to be have this be a hub for them at McNamara. They pay big money. They literally support the airport. So, Spirit just, it's sad. It really is. I really fucking hate it, because I know that it's going to be an issue with traveling, that the crowds are going to be much bigger because people are not going to be able to get flights on as many airlines as they want. So it limits the options, like I said before. And then also, y'all, the employees. Where the fuck are these people going to work? Where the fuck? If you got 5 major airlines, and a lot of them are limiting where they're even flying out of because of the cost of fucking fuel due to the Iran war. So where are these people going to work? They don't have any fucking work. So it's so frustrating, because it's just like, okay, you want the federal government to bail them out, but then also you're pissed because they get to get a bailout when we don't. You know, we fuck up some shit in our personal life or in our business. We don't get bailed out. You just lose the fuck out. But then if we don't build this company out, then you have situations like what we're in right now, where you have people stranded at airlines, not able to get home. Prices are going up. You want a same day flight, it's $1,300, baby. And they don't give a fuck. $1,300. That's your Mima? 13. Thank you very much. They don't give a fuck about your sob story. They don't give a fuck about nothing. They want their $1,300. So it's very sad. It's very, very sad. But that's where we are when it comes to Spirit, and when it comes to these other airlines. I definitely do not feel like Spirit is about to be the only one. I think Spirit was an example of what could happen to the rest of these airlines. So we may see some mergers that come through, which unfortunately this raggedy ass administration will get the chance to say, oh, we participated and we approved these mergers and da 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 da. But it's just monopolizing the market, and the consumer is the person who pays the cost, just like the employees are paying the cost right now. And we, the consumers, are paying the cost for higher flight tickets and gas. And it's just fucked up all the way around. No matter how you look at this situation, it is fucked up. But let me see. I think I got one email, because I got a crazy ass email, y'all, and I was gonna save it for the email episode, but I feel like we can wrap up this episode with this because we almost had time. Be patient, be patient, be patient. I want to tell y'all. Call a house nigga at work. And this how much I wanted to read this motherfucking email, bitch. I took a screenshot of the motherfucking email so that I can have it on my fucking phone, like, immediately, so that I can read it. It says, I love you and all your assistance for the working people. I was recently called a house nigger at work by a white male. I was completely shocked that this is coming from an intern who has been troublesome from day one. I did report it to my supervisor, who said she could not tell me what to do. Okay. What the fuck does that mean? But she will report it to the director of the department. I left work in tears and I don't want to go back. This event has left me traumatized and I'm requesting from you, how should I proceed? Betty, number one, I hope to God you documented what the fuck happened between you and that coworker, whatever the fuck the conversation was, because you didn't explain what the conversation was about. Did he just walk up to you and be like, you a house nigga? Like, what happened between you and this person? Okay, what was that? I hope you got that documented. I also hope that you told her, or documented that you told that bitch and she was like, well, I can't tell you what to do. What? You're my supervisor, bitch. What do you mean you cannot tell me what to do? That's literally your job, is to instruct me on what the fuck I'm supposed to do. So what do you mean you cannot tell me what to do? That's your responsibility, is to tell me what the fuck to do, bitch. I digress because I'm getting mad. So I hope you documented that. I hope you documented that fucking conversation between you and your supervisor. And I definitely hope that you sent your own email to HR, because at the end of the day, if you're going to tell me you can't tell me what to do, I'm not going to trust you with information like that. I'm just not. I'm actually going to write my own email and I'm going to send it to you, your boss, and HR immediately. Because if you tell me that you cannot help me in that situation, that means I need to figure it out myself. I'm not going to just sit up here and wait for y'all to do an investigation in fucking 6 months, because that's what's going to happen. It's going to sit on your director's desk until somebody lit some fire under her ass, and HR is going to be the one to do it. Now, if you and this person have had some issues in the past, or if you you said this person is troublesome, so maybe he got some shit going on with other people, maybe this is enough to get him out. I would hope to God it is, because that is so inappropriate. I don't give a fuck what y'all say, because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, it's just a word. It is ignorant for you to use that type of language in a workplace, period. It's even more ignorant for you to use it, period. But you're even stupider for you. Well, stupider ain't no word, but you know what I'm saying, bitch. We talking, okay? It's even dumber for your dumb ass to use that word at fucking work. Freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequence. You can say whatever the fuck you want to say, But at the end of the day, you got to deal with whatever fuck vitriol come with that. So if that means, like in this case, a possible firing, maybe a lawsuit down the road, who fucking knows? Because you're creating a traumatic, harassing work environment. It's hard for me to function. It's hard for me to do my job. And if your organization does not handle this right, I highly recommend that you take your motherfucking ass to an attorney and speak to them about it 100%. But I just feel like people get so careless with the way they talk because y'all see that orange coochie neck ass bitch in the White House. And at the end of the day, you not the orange coochie neck ass bitch. He may not have no consequences, but your bitch ass will. So if you feel like you can say whatever the fuck you want to say to people, do it. And then whatever come with that is whatever come with that. Okay, that's my message to the motherfucker who's saying it, or other motherfuckers who think they can just say whatever the fuck they want to say at work. You, ma'am, Betty, document that conversation that you had with your coworker and that conversation you had with your supervisor, and document the conversation that you're going to have with HR. Whatever the fuck they say to you, you need to save it to your phone, not record it, okay? Because you don't know whether or not you live in a two-party state, and I don't know where you live, so be careful with that as far as recording. Documenting means downloading the work receipt apps, like I tell y'all all the fucking time. Use work receipts. This is not an ad, okay? I love Sierra. I enjoy her as a person. I enjoy the product. It is a good ass product and a great benefit to you. So that if you can catalog these events in sequence, in order, when it's time, or if you get to the time, it's time for you to talk to an attorney, you have all these things laid out and they're all organized. So you don't have to guess and be like, okay, well, I think it was like a Monday. I can't really remember what was going on. Like, no, organize your fucking thoughts. Put it in that fucking app. Okay? I'm not joking. Put it in that app and do not let them folk play with you. You understand me, bitch? Say yes. Thank you very much. All right, ho. Y'all have a good ass day. We are at time. I hope y'all enjoyed this podcast. Remember what I said. If you want to email your questions over to the podcast, you send it over to THEE Mill, MILL, Management Pod, POD, okay, at gmail.com. Or you can send it to me in the DM. Sometimes I catch them DMs, so don't be feeling no type of way if I don't see it. Okay? I can't always see that. Also, if you would like to watch this podcast early and you can watch it on video, join Patreon. Is $6 per month to join. I do want to get back to doing our lives. It's just we be having low attendance sometimes, so I don't really know what works for y'all. So if y'all want to do a live maybe once a month or something like that y'all feel like you can really attend, we can prepare for that. Y'all can save your questions and all of that, so it don't feel like we're going live all the time and then you don't really have questions for me and we just kind of sit there and talk about nothing. Let's talk about things that can be productive in the workplace. Okay? Okay. Lastly, bitch, y'all watch Nature Boy documentary, please, on Hulu. That was some crazy shit. If you like watching cult TV, which I do, I love cult TV. My favorite is FLDS. It's my favorite cult ever. I feel like it's terrible. They're horrible, but I love watching and learning about that because you just never know. I may get caught in Utah one day. I don't know. But y'all have a good motherfucking day. Y'all watch that documentary. And I'm so sorry to all of the people who work at Spirit. I hope that everything works out for y'all. The people who got stranded in airports this weekend, watch the fucking news. Stop flying. There was a possible threat, okay? That they was gonna fucking close, guys, okay? Bitch, y'all have a good weekend, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.